Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. How did you go bankrupt? Bill asked. 2 ways, Mike said. Gradually. And then suddenly. Ernest Hemingway, The Sun Also Rises, 1926. When you go bankrupt, when you lose everything, it can happen very slowly at once. You don't notice that you were overspending here, you were overpaying an employee there, you had taken a bad deal there. Similarly, when mass adoption is happening, you don't always realize it at first. When Starbucks wanted to partner with Bitcoin and start accepting Bitcoin payments, when the Winklevoss twins got into crypto 10 years ago, when Bitcoin hit $20,000, when FTX collapsed, when Luna disappeared, we didn't see how every single part of the narrative would eventually lead to mass adoption. We didn't quite understand how every single step along the way would bring us to where we are today. And in the same way that Bill asked Mike, how did you go bankrupt? And Mike responded, gradually, then suddenly. When you ask me, or the world asks us, how did mass adoption happen for Bitcoin? Our answer will be the same as the famous book written almost a century ago today. Gradually. And then suddenly. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the price of Bitcoin because we've got a massive rally going on right now. If you were not watching the news, over the weekend, former president, potentially future president, Donald Trump spoke at the Nashville conference at Bitcoin 2024, and he said some incredible things. Not only him, though, Cynthia Lummis also spoke at Bitcoin 2024, and both of them, I think independently, I think they both came up with this on their own. I don't think they collaborated to do this. Both outlined their plans for a strategic national reserve of Bitcoin. Cynthia Lummis's plan detailed a 1 million Bitcoin purchase worth at current prices about $68 to $70 billion worth of Bitcoin over the course of the next 20 years. And for 20 years, the government would hold that Bitcoin and not sell it for any reasons other than to pay off the national debt. On the other hand, we also got a price prediction out of Michael Saylor, a man that I have met and interviewed. You guys can go back and watch that interview. I still think it is one of the best interviews Michael Saylor has ever done. At Bitcoin 2024, he gave his bull case, his bear case, and his base case for the Bitcoin price prediction in 2025, which is about 20 years from now, when Cynthia Lummis is saying that we would potentially be selling this Bitcoin. Worst case scenario, he thinks it will be $3 million. Base case scenario, he thinks it'll be $13 million a coin. Bull case scenario, he thinks Bitcoin could be worth up to $49 million a coin, which would put the market capitalization of Bitcoin at $2 quadrillion. I personally think that's a little bit aggressive, but possible. And today, we're going to be talking about what happened over the weekend, how it's impacted the price, where the price is going next, and what you should be doing about it right now. My goal for you is to reach for something that I call financial sovereignty. I want you to be in total and complete dominion and control over your wealth because I want you to be able to grow it. I want you to be able to succeed with it. I want you to be able to be generous with it. I want you to be able to thrive with your wealth. So many people look at money as this evil thing, and the reason that they think it's evil is because in their life it has been evil. It's been the arbiter of doom. The lack of wealth has been the reason that their relationships are failing because there's always arguments about it. The chaos in their possessions, their time, their relationships, and their money has been an arbiter of pain in their life. And so they attribute the pain that they see from the finances as being the money's fault. And money, the love of money, is the root of all evil. But it actually can be a great blessing to you if you figure out how to manage it. I'm going to show you how to manage your wealth and succeed with it so that when you jump here into cryptocurrency, you can find out how to actually get it working for you. As for someone who has made several $1,000,000 in my career, the first few $1,000,000 I made, I squandered it. I was so freaking stupid with it. I mean, guys, I've made $250,000 in a week and then just, where to go? I was so dumb with it. That's not our story today. We are extremely disciplined with our finances. We've set them on a collision course with growth, and I'm going to show you how to do the exact same thing. If you are seeing my face for the first time, I want you to go ahead and give me a wave. If this is the first time that you're here in the stream, I want you to give me a wave in chat. I'm going to give you specifically a shout out. Thank you so very much for tuning in. It is my dream to help you succeed financially. And for anybody who is new here, also just let us know how you are. What's your story? How long have you been in crypto? Tell us a little bit about you. We would love to get you welcomed here into our cryptocurrency community here on the Coffee and Crypto live stream. Going to give a couple of shout outs. Drian121 is first. Chris SF in chat. Joe Bollier's in chat. Bob Riley, Patrick Nand, Leroy's in chat. Music Tags, Bjorn's in chat. D-Master in chat. Shadrach Frost in chat. Pamela Renard is in chat. Shout out to everybody who has tuned in. Thank you so very much for being here. And thank you guys for all of your prayers because our baby is probably going to be coming any day now. Honestly, could be coming today. We almost went to the hospital to have the baby last night. And the baby ended up not coming. So we ended up getting some sleep, which was nice, because that's going to be a hot commodity here in a couple of weeks. But if you guys don't know, we are 36 weeks pregnant. My wife is 36 weeks and a day pregnant. So we're going to be having a baby any day now. Maybe next week. Probably going to happen this week, though. So expect a little bit of disruption to the channel over the course of the next 2 months as we have a baby, which is obviously disrupting in and of itself. And then as we're getting kind of into a routine and helping my wife heal from such a extreme event, birth. It's a very painful thing. It's an awesome thing, but it's very painful, and she's got a lot of recovery to do after that. So I appreciate your patience over the next 8 weeks, mainly as we have the baby and we recover from having the baby. But very blessed. Thank you, Lord, for giving us our beautiful, wonderful children. I love them so much, and I love you guys. So we're going to jump on into the content. Very excited today about the rally going on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's actually down a little bit over the last couple of minutes here. It was up at nearly $70,000 this morning as I was doing my research for this stream. And you can see we actually hit 70K. We hit it very firmly. I mean, we hit it literally at exactly $70,000. If you type in $70,000 here, and we'll make this red for resistance because that is how we do our resistance on this channel, you can see we exactly hit $70,000. So here is what we are seeing happen right now. Bitcoin tested $70,000. There is a massive sell wall there. On Bitcoin, we are witnessing right now an extreme sell wall. Everybody's selling at $70,000. Why? Well, if you look at the last month, you'll be able to tell that Bitcoin has gone through a massive rally. People were buying down here. People were actually following our counsel. People were actually following our counsel and buying down here below $64,000. And so when Bitcoin hits $70,000, that's most people's take profit. Most people have entered a trade. They did a long position. Let's say they entered at, $60,000, got a stop loss, doesn't matter where. They're going to put their take profit because it's a nice, clean, even big whole number at 70 grand. That's what generally happens right there. And so what we are seeing at the moment are profits being taken. This does not mean that those people that are taking profit are now bears. We need to be clear on that because there's a difference. There are bulls that are selling and there are true bears. The bulls that are selling are taking profit, looking for a reentry. The bears are the faction that are selling because they expect a primary downtrend. There's a big difference. A bear is selling because they expect, hey, we're going to drop another $15,000. A bull is taking profits here, rejigging their position, and gearing up for another trade. That is where this sell side pressure came from. This is not actual. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. Only bears sell and only bulls buy. No, bulls can sell and bears can buy. It depends on whether it's the primary or the secondary trend. This corrective movement over the last 2 hours is a secondary trend against the primary uptrend. It's a secondary corrective movement against the primary uptrend. We talked about that nomenclature in last week's series of streams. But what we're seeing right now is not the bulls capitulating. That's not it. That's the bulls taking profit. If this were a capitulation, we would be seeing, first of all, we would drop for a lot longer. So a day from now, this could actually be a capitulation. Right now, it's not. Right now, it's just a corrective movement. But it's the bulls taking profit, gearing up for another entry, and they've got great entries here. There's every reason to believe that Bitcoin is about to go into a massive uptrend. Guys, we've got We've got the buy signal and LUX algo. We've got the inverse head and shoulders pattern. We've got MACD is still bullish. We've got crypto Jeb oscillator still bullish. Need we talk about the fundamentals? Trump saying he's going to create a national reserve of Bitcoin. Senator Cynthia Lummis, who is actually a current senator, like Trump's not in office, so if he doesn't get elected, then his idea just kind of goes out the window. Cynthia Lummis is actually an active senator, so she's putting forward this bill. You know, this is coming. Bitcoin will be acquired by the United States government as part of the strategic national stockpile by the end of the decade. Potentially within the next 12 months if Trump is elected or Cynthia Lummis gets this bill to go through. By the way, I do believe that I think I have this number correct, the United States government actually owns about 212,000 Bitcoin anyway from confiscating it during, certain criminal raids and whatnot, reacquiring it through, taking out criminals, basically. And so they've already got about 20% of the way to 1 million Bitcoin. They would just roll that over into a strategic national stockpile. And Trump even wants to see Bitcoin be worth more than gold one day. So all of these fundamentals are coming together to create a perfect storm of bullishness. And so we've got every reason to believe that Bitcoin is in a primary uptrend. And again, the trend is our friend until what? Until it ends. The trend has not ended. Us dropping $1,000 after we've rallied $15,000 is not an end of the trend kind of corrective movement. No, we're up 31% in less than a month. That's over 1% a day. We got some BitConnect returns in here, right? Somebody will get that reference and tell me in chat. Massive uptrends coming. There's not much that's going to stand in our way. And how do we end up going through a rally? How do we end up seeing mass adoption? Gradually, and then suddenly. There is going to come a time in the next few months, unless things change and they become exceedingly bearish compared to how they are right now. There's going to come a time that Bitcoin is going to absolutely explode. You're going to see an enormous amount of explosive movement coming in. I want to reference something. Ron in chat is saying, did you see Bobby Kennedy Jr. say at the Bitcoin conference? Yes, I should mention that. Bobby Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, said that he has put almost his entire net worth into Bitcoin. Many people argue that he actually had a more comprehensive speech at the conference than Trump did. Bobby Kennedy probably does understand Bitcoin, have an even stronger, more thought-out philosophy on Bitcoin than Trump does. I don't think Bobby Kennedy is going to win the election, but I think it is nice that the third largest candidate, because he does run about 7-8% in the polls. The third largest candidate for cryptocurrency is basically a one-trick pony. The third largest candidate for the president's office is essentially a one-trick pony for Bitcoin. It's pretty nice. But this reminds me of something. What we're seeing out of Robert Kennedy, what we're seeing out of Trump, what we're seeing out of Cynthia Lummis, what we're seeing out of Michael Saylor, it reminds me of a time in one of two ways. In one way and not in another way. In one way, it reminds me of this season right over here when Elon Musk was a big fan, a big proponent of... Right over here, when Elon Musk was a big fan, a big proponent of Bitcoin, when Michael Saylor was a big fan and a big proponent, they were talking about building some kind of overseeing body, kind of governing. It wasn't exactly a governing agency, but some kind of committee over cryptocurrency. And we were seeing a huge amount of people that were very high up in government and in culture talking about it. Everyone was talking about Bitcoin. And that's where we are right now, except we're not at the all-time high. No, instead, we're building one enormous bull flag up here. This is a gargantuan bull flag is what this is. I don't know how else to convince you that Bitcoin is bullish than this. I don't know how else I can do it. We've got the most significant, largest bull flag built in the history of the entire industry. If you don't see it, I'm not sure how to show it to you. It's right there. Enormous bull flag. On the linear chart, actually on the logarithmic chart, on the linear chart, this would point up to, I don't know, how far would it point up? Probably about $100,000 or so, right? If we just build out our bull flag like this, point it up, $100,000. That was a good prediction. $100,000. If we do this on the logarithmic scale, which is also one way of doing it. I would prefer the linear chart, but the logarithmic chart also works. On the log scale, it points up to 154,000. Again, I would go with the linear prediction here because it's more conservative and it's also more likely to happen because it's not you're not having exponential returns. But the point is here, Bitcoin's looking at $80,000 to $100,000. We've been predicting that for a long time. I've been predicting $100,000 before the end of the year for a while. In fact, I think we'd be between $250,000 and $500,000 by the end of the decade, probably more than that. So an enormous rally is coming. I remember in the space when $10,000 was our all-time high. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Not when it was our all-time high. When it was the pie in the sky prediction. When everybody was like, it'll never go there. I remember that. I remember when $10,000 was unheard of. I remember. Here's the funny thing. Here's the thing. I remember when I started I'm going to date myself here. I remember when with Bitcoin, we started calling it 15, 16, 17, 20, 22K. Because up until that point, we called it 8.2K or 1.5 or 3.2K or 5.3K. It was something point something K. And then when we started using the actual full number, 10K, 11K, 12K, 13K, freaked me out. Now it's 68K, right? I remember that. It was back here in 2017. Right here. I remember making a comment on this on one of our first videos. It's like, because I started making videos right here before we hit 20K. Remember that? Shadrach Frost said, lol, I remember when I bought the first time when Bitcoin hit 1,000. Yeah, exactly. You remember when you started using the letter K. We hit $10,000. Now it's at $70,000. And the reason I bring that up is because at this time we were saying 3.4K and 2.9K and 5.2K and 8.3K. $10,000 was the pie in the sky all-time high figure that we never thought would occur. Back here. I started the channel on this day, November 16th, 2017. November 16th, 2017. First video went out. This is what the chart looked like. Bitcoin was trading at $7,200 when this channel started. And I got into crypto on this day right here, July 31st, 2017. I wasn't in crypto for very long before I started making content on it. Did I know what I was talking about? Not really. Do I now? It's been 7 years. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about now. But we never thought, oh man, this is basically exactly where we are right now. This is essentially exactly where we are right now. Look at this. Except it's an order of magnitude higher. When I got into the space, we were on our way back up to the all-time high, which was about 7.3K. Now the all-time high is 73K. We're literally doing the exact same thing that we saw happen when I started the channel. 7 years ago this November, when I started the channel, we're at the exact same spot, except we're 10x. We're 10 times higher. We had flagged sideways, trading sideways at 7.3K. Today, we're flagging sideways at 73K as our all-time high. We were on our way back up to 73K. People were thinking at this time, oh, no, that wasn't a big enough dip. We're going to... This. Go watch the first video on the channel. You will see this chart. It was white and everything. It was a little different. But you get my point. What happened? This is what happened. Off the chart kind of rally. Now, the bear market was close. I don't think we're that close to the bear market. I don't think we're just a month or two away from the bear market like we were in 2017. But the analogy remains the same. 100K sounds crazy until it happens. 10K sounds crazy until it happens. Powered flight by a man sounds crazy until it happens. Landing a man on the moon sounds crazy until it happens. Being able to search information in an international, electronic, instantaneous database called the World Wide Web sounds impossible until it happens. And $100,000 per Bitcoin sounds insane until one day you wake up and it's in the rearview mirror. And that's what we're approaching. And that's the main point I want to make today. Current events are pushing us in the direction of an enormous Bitcoin bull market. If you are new here, give me a wave. I want to give you a shout out. If you're enjoying today's video, give us a like. This is a very simple point that we're making today. It's a very simple point that we're making today. A massive rally is coming, and the future of Bitcoin has never been clearer. We have a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. By the way, the Ethereum ETF is really not doing very great right now, mainly because Grayscale is outflowing, but the rest of the funds are inflowing, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The future of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has never been more certain than it is today. Never. It's never been this certain in the history of the entire industry. And so I want to highly encourage you. Again, simple message today. Future's incredibly bullish. And I want you to do something about it. The simple message today is that the future is incredibly bullish, and I want you to do something about it. Here's what I want you to do about it. I want you to go back and watch a video that I made a few days ago. I'm going to repeat what's in it, but you can actually see what I said in this video if you're interested. In this video, it's titled, "You're Not a Crypto Millionaire, and Here's How to Fix It." Essentially, in this video, I outlined the only 3 reasons that you have not already built $1 million net worth in crypto. And the 3 reasons are, number 1, you don't have control of your wealth because you don't have a budget and investment plan, and you're in debt. That's number 1. Number 2, you have not actually done the work of doing the investment. You've not actually put aside your wants and put money into the cryptocurrency space yet. And number 3, you haven't been patient enough yet. You just haven't waited long enough. Those are the only 3 reasons you don't have $1 million net worth in crypto. And somebody responded and said, I do have $1 million. I said, well, the video wasn't for you then. For you, it's just why you don't have a $10 million net worth. There's only 3 reasons why you don't have $1 million in crypto right now. 1, you don't have control of your money. 2, you haven't actually made the investments and planted the seed. And 3, you haven't waited long enough. It's the only reason. You're like, Jeb, I'll never have $1 million in crypto. Why not? Speak that over yourself. Let me tell you a story. I was out at a restaurant with a real estate agent friend of mine and another influencer here in the cryptocurrency space. I won't say who. And we were talking about Grant and Elena Cardone. And again, I'm not going to say the names, but one of the people asked me, they said, "What do you think Elena Cardone was a gold digger for marrying Grant Cardone? You know, before she was Elena Cardone." And I said, he was only worth $50 million when they met. I don't think so. I mean, she seems like a nice lady. I don't think she's a gold digger. And they both started railing on me. They said, only $50 million. I said, yeah, only $50 million. And they're like, come on, Jeb. What do you mean only $50 million? That's a lot of money, man. And I just looked at, they were both laughing. I just looked at them both in the eyes and I said, if you really think that $50 million is a lot of money, then what that tells me is that you're never going to have $50 million. Because you don't believe that it's even possible. And they didn't like that. They were like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like, you think it's laughable? Having $50 million is laughable to you. You just found that out. We just discovered that to both of you, having $50 million is laughable. Which means my prediction for both of you is that you're never going to have $50 million. Because you think it's funny. The concept of having $50 million. You think that's a lot of money. I don't think $50 million bucks is a lot of money. One day I'll probably have $50 million bucks because I actually truly believe that that's possible. I truly believe $50 million net worth is very possible for just about any of you if you do the right steps. I genuinely, to my core, firmly believe that I have what it takes. I have a God in heaven who's big enough that if that's what he chooses to bless me with, then that's what I'll have. He could choose to do whatever he wants with me, to be perfectly clear. He's sovereign. But I genuinely believe that if that's his will for my life, then that's possible. I really genuinely believe $50 million net worth, it can be done. I truly believe that. If you truly believe that $1 million net worth in crypto is something that you can do, if you truly believe that a $50 million net worth is something that you can do, then you've taken the first step, which is that you are on your own team. Why do football teams have cheerleaders? They want somebody to pump them up. Like, I can do this. I hear all these people over here saying, you can do it. And so I believe, I can do it. Can you do it? Are you your own cheerleader or are you your own critic? It's okay to be your own coach, but are you your own critic? Do you really believe that it's possible? Because this market is growing. And if you spend the next 10 years with Eeyore as your spirit animal, looking in the mirror saying, oh, I can't do it. Oh, little man can't get ahead. Where have I heard that before? People call me Dave Ramsey 2.0. I might as well just quote him. Little man can't get ahead. I can't do that. $1 million. The people that come from my side of the train tracks don't do that. People with my skin color, they don't do that. People with my gender, they don't do that. People from my neck of the woods, they don't do that. Asians don't do that. White people don't do that. Black people don't do that. I don't care. Do it. Because wealth is not about luck. Don't get me wrong. I am incredibly lucky. And you, by the way, are incredibly lucky. Just born in the 21st century with an internet connection, you're incredibly lucky. If you are watching this video, then that means you have access to electricity. You have access to the internet. You have access to modern capitalism. There is real oppression out there. There are people that are genuinely slaves in this world. I'm not talking to them. They literally need to be rescued by somebody else before they can really go and build something for themselves. But that's probably not you. The only reason that you're not where you want to be right now, most likely, is because you have made a bunch of different choices that have stopped you from getting there. And that is what gets me fired up. That the only reason that you're not where you could be is because of the choices that you have chosen to make. Make no mistake. In the 21st century, if you were born poor, that's not your fault. If you live in America and you're a free individual, and if you die poor, that's your fault. And you got to own that if you want to succeed. So let's put our big boy pants on. Let's put our big girl pants on. Let's be a man. Let's be a woman if you're a woman. And let's take ownership of our future and our destiny and say it's mine, not yours. I decide before God and following him. I'm not trying to put ourselves above God. I'm not trying to do that. Under him, we decide with his blessing where we're going. And we're going to do whatever it takes. You know, I am so blessed right now. I'm so lucky right now. I'm just looking around. We're all ready for the baby. My wife's got a baby. You know, we've got 2 children. My wife's just an incredible angel. I mean, God knew what he was doing when he made that angel, right? The angel sang out an immaculate chorus when she was created, right? I am so freaking blessed. I'm so incredibly blessed. Right now, I am living the dream that I dreamed 7 years ago when I started this channel, when I took my future into my own hands instead of just saying, whatever happens to me is whatever happens to me. When I took my future into my own hands and I said to myself, I'm going to make 1 video a day on cryptocurrency every single day, no weekends, until I change my life and until I get the vision for the life that I want, that I didn't have, but I demand out of my life to have. 7 years have gone by. I've got it. Living the dream. Incredible wife, incredible children, incredible business, fulfilled in career. Am I bragging? No. I'm thankful to God because I wouldn't even exist if it weren't for him. It's all glory to him. But I will tell you something. The only reason that I have the life today that I am so happy to have is because I made a decision over a decade ago, nearly a decade ago, that was going to be my life. Lord willing. Lord willing, I'll live another day, right? I'm not trying to go there. But I made a decision that if I have anything to say about it, which just so happened I did, and maybe I didn't, but I just so happened to actually do have a say about it. If I have anything to say about it, this is going to be my life. And guess what? It happened. I paid the price because I put the work in for it. So with this market as it stands, huge rallies coming. Huge rallies coming in Bitcoin. Huge rallies coming in Ethereum. Huge rallies coming in the stock world. You get to decide today, what is your future going to look like? Things happen. It is an evil world out there. People get kidnapped every day. People get their life ended every day. Bad things happen every day. If you sit around and plan based on the preconceived notion that something terrible is going to happen to you, then you're what's called a pessimist. You're what's called a fatalist. We don't plan based on, oh my gosh, why should I plan for what I'm going to be doing in 10 years? You know, I could get kidnapped under a bridge somewhere. Yeah, that's really a fun way to live life. What about that in 1 Corinthians 13? Love believeth all things. Love believeth all things. I believe that my wife loves me, even if she's making a mistake. My wife believes that I love her, even if I'm making a mistake. Because I believe all things. I believe good in her. I've got very good reason to believe the best in my wife. I've got good reason to believe that, in all likelihood, things are probably going to be okay. It's not going to be great. I mean, there's all kinds of evil going on in the world. But the market's probably going to be here in 10 years. I will probably be here in 10 years. And if not, I'm not going to plan based on something terrible happening. I'm going to plan based on if things continue as they reasonably are. Not if they're great, but if they continue as they are. Because the trend is my friend until it ends. So take a responsibility. Take ownership. Own it. That's why I tell you guys, if you don't like something about the stream, tell me. Dislike the video. My ego is not fragile. You're not going to offend me. I don't care. Dislike the video if you're willing to tell me in the comments down below why you didn't like the content. I'll own it. I got growing to do. I am not Jesus Christ. I ain't perfect. I've got no preconceived notions that I got this all figured out because I will be the first to tell you that I don't. I might look like I do because I've got a platform here, but I don't have it all figured out. I need to grow just as well as you do. So if you don't like something, dislike the video and tell me why. I'm fine with that. Be respectful. Be kind. I'm a human too. But you're not going to hurt my feelings. People bash me every day. Water off a duck's back. I don't care. I will take the feedback, though, because I want to grow. That's what you've got to do. We've got to get down and dirty and say, my future is in my hands, not the government's hands. Whether Kamala or Trump gets elected, my future is in my hands. Whether Gensler gets the boot from Trump or he gets a garland from Kamala, my future is in my hands. Whether the market goes up or the market goes down, my future is in my hands. And it's in God's hands. But I get the ability to decide where I'm going, for the most part. Things happen, but for the most part, I get to decide where I'm going. Let's read a little bit of chat. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Let's see here. Take responsibility for your actions. Nobody put a gun to your head and told you to buy the top. Yeah, it's true. It's true. You can't afford a new home, Dave Ramsey. Right. Shadrach Frost said, verse of the day, 2 Samuel 7:29, which reads, now therefore may it please you to bless the house of your servant so that it may continue forever before you. For you, O Lord God, have spoken with your blessings. Shall the house of your servant be blessed forever. Praise God. May we be God's servants and receive his blessings that he promises that he will pour out. All right, we're going to read a little bit of chat and then we're going to keep it moving here. I do appreciate all of you for tuning in. Even being perfect doesn't mean you don't have work to grow. Jesus spent most of his life studying before he began his ministry. He knew he had to keep growing, although being perfect. That's a take on it. Not sure whether or not the Bible says that, but he definitely spent a lot of time praying. He spent a lot of time doing carpentry, and naturally, he probably in the physical body had to learn to walk and stuff. So I'll give you that. Let's see. One day, a large Big Mac meal will cost $50 million. Mark my words. Yep, that sounds about right. Oh, man. You must look at all sides. All sides equals critical thinker. Yeah, you know that you have reached a point of being a critical thinker when I'm able to tell you there are two sides to this debate. Debate and prove either side. But wait, one of those sides is evil. Yeah, debate it. Show me the points for it. It doesn't mean it's not evil. Debate it. I can debate. For being a Christian, my core belief is that I believe that Jesus Christ lived an earthly ministry, died on the cross, rose from the dead, and saved us from our sins. I can debate it from a point of view of an atheist because I understand the position so well, because for the first 18, 19 years of my life, I was one. I just also happen to know the other side, which is the side that Christ actually is who he says he was, and those points actually defeat the atheistic points, which is why I'm a Christian, because I actually did the research and I actually chose to follow Christ. Right? I can debate from either side, although one side I firmly believe wins. All right, now let's. I want to real quick before we keep it moving here. I want to let you guys know about one of our sponsors, which is none other than NordVPN. The reason I want you guys to sign up for NordVPN is because I want you to be safe. Here's the deal. This is one of those decisions you get to make. Am I going to protect myself or am I not? Am I going to protect myself or am I going to leave myself exposed? The choice is yours. The choice is yours. You get to either be protected and you pay a fee for that, or not, and then you end up losing your wealth potentially. $93.51. That is 2 years for NordVPN. They're the most comprehensive, most trusted, most adopted security architecture and virtual private network provider in the history of the world. They've got tens of millions of users. Here's your choice. Pay $93.51 for a 2-year plan for the normal package. You get a big discount with us, so sign up with the link down below. Or, on the other hand, you don't. And you don't spend the $93.51, which is almost nothing when it comes to this kind of thing. And you leave yourself vastly more exposed. You increase your likelihood of being hacked and having something stolen from you. Who knows how much? Maybe it's 2x. Maybe it's 5x. Maybe it's 10x. Maybe you don't get hacked in the next 2 years. Maybe you don't. But maybe you do. Are you willing to save $93.51 and increase the likelihood that you're going to get hacked and stolen from? That's the choice you've got to make. So I highly encourage you to sign up for NordVPN. I can debate both sides. Hey, I could invest the $93.51. Am I growing to $400? Yeah, you could. Or you could spend the $93.51 on NordVPN and save yourself from losing the thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of wealth you have. You could stop yourself from having your social security number hacked and somebody open up a line of credit in your name. I mean, there's all kinds of things that people can do with the information that they can find from you online. It's very simple. Leroy Essel just said Nord works well. There's a reason it's the most adopted security company in the history of the freaking world. It's so simple. Prices so low. product, incredibly good at what it does. It's just a simple choice. Sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below. Some of the products I sell you guys, some of you guys don't need. Some of you do, and that's why I share them. Nord, every single one of you watching. Every single one of you watching. There are 242 people watching right now. All 242 of you ought to sign up for NordVPN. Every single last one of you ought to sign up for it. There's not a single one of you that should not sign up for NordVPN. It's just, it's like an essential. It is an essential. You just should do it. All right. Now, let's keep it moving here. Where is Bitcoin going next? Where's the S&P 500 going next? Here's the cool thing. Now, we talked about kind of we've talked about the philosophy. We've talked about the decision that you have to make as a cryptocurrency enthusiast, as a self-determinist. Let's see, hashtag self-determinism in chat. Self-determinism. We determine as much as is possible, again, under God and understanding that it is a blessing from the Lord that we even have breath in our lungs. We understand those things. But within the confines of those truths, we are self-deterministic about where we're going to go. We're self-deterministic about where we're going to go. Hashtag self-determinism. Within the confines of being self-determinists, what should we do? We put our money where our mouth is. We follow the fence-off way. What's the fence-off way? Step 1, repent of your foolishness. Choose financial sovereignty. Declare war on chaos. It was so funny. I explained the fence-off. We had a big party for our baby yesterday. I explained the fence-off way to 4 or 5 people there. And one of them, I explained that the first step, they said, what's step 1? I said, the first step is repent. And they said, how does that go over with people? I was like, well, it's definitely shocking for people. And I like it that way. It's supposed to be a punch in the face. It's supposed to be a, hey, wake up. Come on. Wake up. The foolishness that you've been doing is destroying your life. It's supposed to be a coach's moment where it's like, we are behind. You got to get back in this game. You have to repent. What does repentance mean? Repentance means changing your mind. You've got to repent of the foolishness. You've got to choose financial sovereignty. You've got to declare war on chaos. Step 2, we slash and burn until we are not in deficit anymore. You're not Congress. Congress only thinks they can do that, but it'll catch up with them eventually. You don't spend more money than you bring in. That's called stupid. That's called dumb. You know why? Because if you bleed faster than your bones can produce more blood, guess what? You die. And if you spend more money than you bring in, guess what? You go bankrupt. Back to the original quote. How did you go bankrupt? 2 ways. Gradually, then suddenly. You don't even see it coming until it's already done. And the way that it happened is because you spent more than you took in. It's that freaking simple. It is not a bit more complicated than that. How do you go bankrupt? 2 ways, gradually then suddenly. You could also answer that question by spending more than I brought in. Step number 3, you have a written plan for your budget for your money. You build and maintain a budget. Step number 4, start an emergency fund, $2,500. Step number 5, declare war on debt, pay it all off, accept your mortgage. Step number 6, save 3 to 6 months of emergency fund. After that, 15% towards retirement. After that, pay off your home early. After that, extra wealth generation. After that, step 10, you're living the fence-off way. Boom. That's the actual overall process. But what do we do here? Well, first of all, again, chaos, debt, get rid of them, then be an investor. But Jeb, there's so many opportunities. Guys, listen, there are a lot of opportunities, which is why you ought to hurry the frick up and get a budget built and why you ought to pay off this debt. Do it quickly. The other thing, after you've done those things, begin investing. Put your money in the flipping market. Oh my gosh, but Jeb, I'm just so scared. I want to hold on to this cash. Guess what? If you had held on to cash and held it for 100 years, you're not going to live that long. But if you had held it for 100 years, you would have lost 99% of your value. Cash is not trash. The only reason cash is also not king. It's somewhere in the middle. Cash is useful. Here's the only use of cash. Here's the only use of holding cash. To stop yourself from going into debt. That's the only reason you have cash, is to stop yourself from going into debt. That's the only reason. It's the only reason. If I didn't have a firm stance against debt, I would have the exact same philosophy as Cardone. Cardone says, throw everything, don't keep a penny, throw all your cash into investments. The only reason I don't say that is because I don't want you going into debt. Otherwise, he's right. He believes in debt, so he's actually got a consistent philosophy there. Throw it all into investments, other than the stuff you're spending, right? The way that I teach this, because debt, I believe, is slavery, and I want you to be free, not slaves. That's more important to me than you having an extra zero on your name. Because Grant Cardone is very wealthy, but he's also a slave to the tune of $1.5 billion of debt. I would rather be worth $100 million and be free than be in his boat, because just like he said, in 08, the banks called him and said, hey, you got $50 million of debt, we're calling your loans. That happened to him. People don't realize that. He tries to make it a good thing. That's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. The banks called your freaking loans, dude. Come on. Anyway, I love Cardone. A lot of things you can learn from him. Don't agree with him on everything. But the only reason we're not like that is because cash has one purpose. Cash has one purpose to stop you from going into more debt. That's the only purpose. That's the only purpose. When you have cash, you invest it as much as you can. You invest it first into retirement, then into paying off the house early, then into extra wealth generation. What does that mean? Bitcoin, Ethereum, extra in stock market. What we're doing, we've saved $8,000 for a rental property, including our other stuff in the last 30 days. Like, we're putting money into these wealth generation activities. I've got other things doing. Obviously, we got payroll, staff, all that. But about $8,000 in the last month we've saved for purchasing a rental property in cash. Our goal, we're going to either look at a tax auction or we're going to look for some kind of property between $100,000 and $200,000, buy it in cash. That'll be our first property. We're looking into doing that about a year from now. So that's what we're looking to do, right? So that's our extra wealth generation. We're in step 9 of the FinSolve way. We're actually in step 10, right? We're doing everything for that. That's what you got to do. You got to actually put your money where your mouth is. You actually have to put your foot on the pedal and say, this is the direction we're going. We're putting some money into investments. And so with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you do that with a plan. Remember, plan for money. Our written plan for money goes like this. Every interval, we will invest X into Y on Z. And that goes like this. Every Friday at 5 p.m., we will invest $100 into Bitcoin on Crypto.com. Every 1st and 15th, we will invest $400 into this portfolio, which we define as 50% Bitcoin, 25% Ethereum, 25% these other altcoins, and we will do that on Coinbase. That is our plan, and we run that on a consistent basis. I said this at our party on Saturday to someone I was explaining the FinSolve way to. I said, there are 2 things you have to do to succeed with money. Number 1, on the budgeting side of it, you have to control it. Number 2, on the growth side of your finances, there's one word that defines what you have to do there. It's consistency, or consistently. If you want 2 words that will help you to succeed with finances that you need to identify with, wake up every morning for 3 months, say, I am these two words every morning, stare at them in the mirror for the next 90 days, look at them in the mirror and say, I am in control and I am consistent. If you have those 2 words, I'm in control of the money and I'm consistent in my investment of that money, you will build wealth. I don't really care where you put it. So long as you put it in a market with a proven track record, you're going to be richer than you were when you started. You do that for long enough. It might not take 6 months. It might not take a year, etc. You've got to be in control, and you've got to be consistent. And if you do that, you will succeed. One of the ways that you can stay in control is by signing up for Vault. Here's the thing. People lose their Bitcoin every single day because they were not using Vault. Vault created an innovative solution to the exchange versus self-custody dilemma. Basically, the way the dilemma works is this. It's a philosophical argument. Hold your Bitcoin on an exchange. You get access to customer service. You don't have to worry about the custody because they're doing it for you. But if they get hacked or if they go down or bankrupt, then you lose it all because you're not the custodian. You get the benefits of them being the custodian, but you also get the downsides of them being the custodian. On the other side of the dilemma is self-custody. If you self-custody, you don't have to worry about somebody else stealing from you or stealing from the exchange because you held it yourself, but you could lose the key. And so that is where Uphold has come in and created Vault. Vault is a 2/3 multi-signature wallet. And what that means is you need 2 of 3 keys to open the wallet. The 2 keys you hold on to at all times. The 3rd key, the Uphold key, is only there to regenerate the wallet should you lose a key. And it works very well. If you're in the wallet, then the light will flash yellow. If you lost a key, you can hit the regenerate button, and it will regenerate the entire wallet. It's very incredible technology. And the reason this is important is because if you lose a key, you don't lose your coins. That dilemma comes back to one statement. If you lose your keys, you lost your coins. Uphold has innovated in such a way where that principle has been broken. If you lose a key, you do not necessarily lose your coins because Uphold has created the solution. Sign up for Vault with the link in the description box down below. It's another one of those things that is a small fee. Yeah, it's small. I mean, they are literally keeping this wallet and keep it full-time support line, essentially. So you pay a small fee for it. It's not much. It's less than a Netflix subscription. And it will keep your Bitcoin safe. Absolutely very important investment. Make sure to sign up. Links down below. We're going to wrap it out pretty soon, but I want to read some chat. Crypto Independent said, that's called stupid, lol. That's a lot of leverage. Not if he's saving money for a year to buy a $100,000 and $200,000 home. Yeah, and we could, I mean, guys, I could go and buy a $100,000 or $200,000 home right now. We've got the cash. We just, we want to save money in that fund, right? We're intentionally saving money, again, consistently. We're putting right now, in the last month, we put about $8,000 in here. Consistently, every day. I've got different revenue streams, and we just kind of turn those revenue streams straight towards a rental property. Every day, money's going into that account. Eventually, one big inflection point will happen. We'll purchase the property, then the property save for another property, and we will dispense 10% of the profit from the rental property after you save for capex, capital gains. We won't have a mortgage, so no principal and interest. You'll probably have a 70% profit margin when there's a tenant, so you include vacancy, probably 60% profit margin. Out of the profit, we'll give ourselves 10%. We'll live on that, and we'll increase our lifestyle a little bit, but 80% of the money will go into purchasing another rental property. And we're going to run that system for a decade, and you know what? In 10 years, we'll probably have 10 to 20 doors if we keep doing that. And then from the company and from our other business activities, wealth generating activities, then we will just continue sending money in that direction. As you run that engine, before you know it, there's $30,000, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000, $150,000 there. Boom, bought the property. It's back down to zero, but now the money that we were putting in is still there and hopefully growing because we're growing our wealth generation, our business activities, and the rents are growing that now, so it grows even faster. And before you know, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5 doors. Maybe we're buying a four-door apartment complex. Maybe we're buying a duplex. Maybe we're buying an 8-door apartment complex. That's where I expect us to be in 5 to 10 years. Right now, I'm just focused on being a new father. We've got a baby coming in a couple weeks, but that's kind of the plan for as we kind of get on our footing and get into a new schedule. Bitcoin Slick asking an excellent question. Any tips for a single 28-year-old truck driving single father? Wow, man. First piece of advice. First thing I'm going to say here, Bitcoin Slack, when I get back from postpartum, I am going to be setting up a calling system where you guys are going to be able to call into the stream, and I'll be able to talk to you about this live. I'm going to give you an answer now. Call in when that system goes online, because I would love to talk to you about that on camera, on stream, as far as not on camera, but on a phone call. Wouldn't show your face. On a phone call, if you're interested. It's okay if you don't want to do that, but that's a great question. I would love to be able to talk to you about more. First things first. Before you even talk about money, you've got to figure out the community. If you are a truck driving father, single father, I assume that you've got a solid community. I came from a household with a single father, so I do feel pretty, as the child of a single father household, I do feel pretty, I've thought about this question a lot. The most important thing that a single parent, mother or father, can have, period, is a relationship with God. I would highly encourage you, go talk to anybody. It can be me, anyone, about who Christ is, what he did for you, how much he loves you, how much he's crazy about you, and how much he's crazy about your child. And the provision that he's going to bring for you. Step number 2, he's going to bring that provision first and foremost through his church, through his body. We're the hands and feet of Christ, the church. You need to be in a good church community around people that actually care about you. Not people that are going to say, they're just going to like slam you into the ground if you make a mistake. Not people that don't understand, not people that are weak, people that actually understand who Christ is, that they don't have anything that saved them, and that love on you, that'll challenge you, but that are going to be there for you. They're going to be able to watch your kid while you're away in the truck. They're going to be able to, pick the kid up from school when you got to work late sometimes. They're going to be able to babysit for you when you just need 8 hours to just chill and do something and fill up your own tank so you can be the best dad you can be. You need people around you. You need God in your corner, which he is. You just got to accept him. And 2, you need people around you. You need flesh and blood people that are here on earth right now around you. You need 5 to 10 solid, close relationships, whether that's family, whether that's people in the church that can become your church family, whatever it is, you need that. All right? This is not judge you. No, this is you need love. You need love around you. Third thing, I highly encourage you, Bitcoin Slick, to go through the Financial Sovereignty Academy when that launches later on this year. Because if you're not on the FinSov way, I want to get you on the FinSov way. The reason that I teach the Financial Sovereignty way is so that people are able to put themselves in a position where finances are a good thing, not a bad thing. Ultimately, they're an amoral thing, but I want it to seem like a good thing to you. I want the finances that are in your life to be a blessing to you and your child, not a detriment to you and your child. Because growing up in a single parent household, my father didn't have the community that he needed. And that hurt me. And that hurt him. And I love him to death. But there are so many areas where there was shame, there was guilt. I don't want you being around people that are going to shame you, guilt you, convict you, not necessarily convict you, but condemn you. I don't want that. I want people that are going to love on you and they're going to be gracious with you and they'll point out where you're wrong and they'll help you grow. But it's an area of saying, hey, I believe in you and I want to help you grow. And then also, my father didn't really know what to do with the money side of things. It wasn't that he didn't try. It wasn't that he didn't care. He taught me some of the basics I know about money, right? But he didn't have it. He didn't have this clear plan like I teach. And I wish that I could have gone back 20 years ago and taught my dad what I teach today, and it would have been so much better for him and for me, because he was very, driven. He is very driven. He cared so much about me. He loved me to death, but he just didn't know what to do. He's just lost. He's just like, I don't know what to do. So get people around you get teaching that's going to teach you how to live that life. It's not easy. It's really not easy. And if you meet a godly woman who loves that child as her own, then, you know, the child having two parents is very good for the child. But obviously, don't just marry just so they have a mother. Like, you know, only go down that route if you know that that's who should be in your life and you fully trust them. So that'd be my main thing. John Doe said, pay off truck and trailer, find a top transportation broker, get high-rated transit insurance ASAP if pulling refrigerant. Those are all great practical answers to that question as well. So yeah, shout out to you, Bitcoin Slick. You're doing great. Just being a single father, that's hard enough as it is. You're doing great. I'm just, assuming the kid's alive, like, good job. Good job just that the kid's even alive. So well done to you on that. Greatly honor and appreciate you for what you're doing for that child. All right. For your child, obviously. Also want to let you guys know about Crypto.com. They are trusted by over 100 million users worldwide. Very excited for you guys to sign up for Crypto.com. If you have not, you should definitely check them out. The link in the description box down below. They've got all kinds of products like their Crypto Earn program where you can generate 5.5% on your Ethereum or even up to 7.5% on your Ethereum if you are a private member. You should absolutely sign up with the link down below. I really appreciate all of you guys. Crypto Independent said, and look how you turned out, Jeb. Don't worry. I turned out the way that I turned out because God got a hold of me. Because he got a hold of me. He got a hold of me. And there's been so many people in my life that he's worked through that have blessed me. My father, you know, caring for me. You know, my wife who cares for me. Our church community that cares. My family, extended family, all that cares for me. You know, the reason that my life turned out the way it is because I've God in my corner. Because I have a good community. Because I got my money right. And I got myself right. That's kind of what I was telling Bitcoin Slick there. And also, another reason to join FinSolve Academy, there's going to be a lot of community elements. There's going to be the teaching, and that's important. But the reason it's going to be an annual subscription is because it's going to be about like $8 a month is what it's going to come down to. It's going to be $99 a year. It's mainly going to be for the community element. We're going to be doing calls. I'm going to be getting to know as many of you guys as I can on a one-on-one basis. I think hundreds of people are going to sign up on day one, so it's going to be hard for me to get to know every single person on an individual basis, but I'm going to try. And there's going to be prayer groups if you guys want that. You know, you don't have to. It'll just be there if you're interested. And there will be areas where we can where we can talk and people can say, hey, I got a question about this. Like, Coinbase throwing this glitch. Does anybody know how to fix this? Or you know, something's going wrong in my investment system. Can somebody help me tweak this? So there's going to be a lot of community interaction there. So you're going to be able to learn from other people like Shadrach Frost or Queen or Crypto Independent or anybody else who joins in, has some wisdom. It's going to be an area where we can really come together and learn from each other, which is going to be great. I'm really excited for that. For the next 8-12 weeks or so, I'm really all in on making sure my wife's okay. We had a really big run-in on Friday and Saturday with preeclampsia. If you guys don't know, the risk factors for that include seizure, stroke, and just straight up death. So having to pay very close attention to that and take care of her, watch the blood pressure really, really closely. So please be praying for her. She's doing okay right now as far as it's very uncomfortable, but her blood pressure anyway, as far as we know, is doing all right at the moment. Preeclampsia is cured by giving birth. So it's not a permanent thing, but it's a temporary life-threatening medical complication would be the technical term for it. So doing everything I can to care for her. Most of my time's going to that right now. But when I come back and I'm full-time and she's healthy, most importantly, and the baby's healthy, then there's a lot of cool things that are going to be coming to the channel. FinSolve Academy, callers on the stream. Going to have some other content going up out there in the world. Going to be doing some interviews. We're going to get really serious about building this. We're gonna go take over the world and make FinSolve a household concept. And I'm really excited that you're here at the ground floor of it. So if you're interested in seeing more of that, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. Stay tuned because I think you're gonna love where we're going next. If you enjoyed today's video, do all those things. I'm gonna wrap it out, but before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.